Good morning and happy Sunday. You're watching Inside Texoma. On this episode of Inside Texoma, we're taking a look back at our We Are Texoma Hometown Pride Tour. And guess who just happened to wander in this morning? Chris Horgan.
It's early. It's really early.
I know, it is early. And Chris just didn't wander in. He's actually here for a reason. Chris kicked off our We Are Texoma Hometown Pride Tour in Vernon, so we decided naturally to have him kick off this show.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about what you saw, what you did in Vernon.
We spent a day in Vernon. Our photographer Thomas Rogers and I went there early in the morning and we made 4 stops, actually 5, and we really had a good time. It was really kind of neat seeing everything in Vernon. We had some spaces in between the shoots that we had set up, so we actually kind of got to go around town and hang out and look at some stuff that we kind of wanted to look at. So it was really a good time, and I got to know and appreciate Vernon a little bit more. I've been here 24 years, and I did sports for 15, so I was in Vernon a lot covering sports. But I was covering sports. That was my focus. I wasn't visiting the things that Vernon has to offer, and so I got to see some of those, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, Texoma is no secret to you. You know, you've been around here forever, and the towns here are nothing new to you. But did you happen to see anything that maybe struck you as something that stood out in Vernon that you maybe didn't even know was there?
One of the spots we went to, and I kind of had an idea of this, but I didn't know how massive it was. We went to the Red River Valley Museum, which is right by Vernon College on College Drive. And one of the things they have is about a 280 million year old jawbone from a woolly mammoth. And it really shows you that, 280 million years ago, we had dinosaurs and massive creatures roaming around Texoma, where we live.
Yeah.
They were here. You hear about that in, Egypt and the archaeological discoveries, but they're here. And they all came from Lake Kemp. There was a couple they dug out Lake Kemp because it was a big man-made lake. So when they dug it out, they put all the dirt, around. So these people went through that dirt, and they found fossils, and they found arrowheads, and they found 10,000 pieces of stuff. And near Seymour, Baylor County, there's a whole lot of discovery there as well as far as these dinosaurs. But I've never seen it. I've seen it on TV, like most of us have.
Yeah.
But you're seeing it. It's just on the other side of the glass, and these things are huge. It kind of put it all in perspective for me. It really did.
Yeah, and it's amazing what you actually find and you find out about when you go to these museums that you probably don't ever really venture out to.
Yeah.
Especially here in Texoma, because I feel like each town in Texoma has its own history. Vernon, no exception.
No exception at all. And we also visited Wilbarger General, which is a great hospital for that size town. They really do a lot, and they're expanding. They're doing what every hospital and medical facility across the country is doing because of the Affordable Care Act. They've had to change kind of their structure. It's not about, primary care is really going away. A lot of hospitals don't offer any kind of primary care now. So they simply just, they're fixing you. But now there's rehab. Now there's a whole lot of other programs, speech pathology, things like that are going on in hospitals because they've got to find other ways, to really get you there. And it's all about health now.
Right. Staying
healthy, not so much you fix you when you're sick. They're still going to do that, but they want you to stay healthy. So they're developing all these programs. And Vernon or Wilbarger County General Hospital, the Wilbarger General Hospital, is right there with everybody else. And
another stop you made was the Wilbarger County Historical Museum. Let's take a look at what you found there.
And then that one's 26, this one's 06.
That's amazing.
And the 06 is out of this church.
Preston Carey is a walking encyclopedia. How many pieces would you say you have? Do you have any idea?
We get into the hundreds of thousands? I don't know. I've got a lot.
And you're saying this is only...
I'm going to say this right now. I was saying a third. I'm probably close to half of it now. I could fill this building again.
Carey is a connoisseur of sorts. He spent a lot of his life in search of history, and some of it was kind of dirty.
And I have gone to estate sales and asked them if they had any Vernon memorabilia. They said, we threw that stuff in the dumpster. I said, well, you don't mind if I go climbing your dumpster, do you? Because I'm going to go find it.
He has everything in this small space. He can take you back to the days that there were no paved streets in Vernon, to the days of Roy Orbison, complete with 45s and 78s, even ones you can sit and listen to in a record room straight out of the 50s. There's entirely too much for me to mention about what he has on display. We just don't have time. But did I mention this building is the old Wilbarger County Jail, dating back to the early 1900s? Well, it is.
The Officer could go this way. He could come around and check on you and go plunge around to that other cell without ever coming in there.
For Kerry, it's been a passion of garage sales, estate sales, and digs. He's even found a few prized pieces with his metal detector.
During my research, in the paperwork I had, I could figure out where the different businesses used to be and then go hunt the lots.
You can call it an obsession or even a passion or an addiction for Preston Kerry, but he said it's all worth it, and he's going to keep right on working to get more room and put up more, all for a reason.
I have a lot of the younger generation come through here, and they're amazed at different things, They want to know.
Sure.
So we'll just keep doing our thing.
Such a wide variety of things in that museum.
Yeah, and we visited the Red River Valley Museum as well, which also has a wide variety. But Preston Kerry is really one of those people that knows everything you saw in that story. Was only about, probably a 16th of what's there. But he has a story with every single one of those pieces, and he can tell you about it.
And something I learned from that, I was a record player you saw there.
Yeah,
Chris was,
yeah,
Chris was first one to point that out to me. I know what that is. Stuff dates all the way back to that time.
Yeah,
the record
all
players.
the way back, and then a lot further. We also
Yeah.
learned why soda pop is called soda pop.
Oh.
Because in the old days, you had to pop the bottle cap, and the top of the bottle would fall in and create the soda.
Interesting.
Yeah, but you had to pop it.
All right, cool.
Kinda cool.
Yeah, so you can learn that along with an array of other things.
stuff.
Yeah, at this museum. And if you want to check out all the other things that Chris Horgan checked out in Vernon, be sure to go to our website, newschannel6now.com. It is under the Hometown Pride Tour. And when we return, we are going to be going to Archer County. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Inside Texoma. We're taking a look back at our We Are Texoma Hometown Pride Tour. I'm joined now by reporter Ava Van Valen. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to sit with me.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to have you here. So you went to Archer County earlier this month. You aired several different stories about different places that you visited. Name some of those places for us.
Yes, I was fortunate enough to go to Archer County, and I went to the Royal Theater, Mossy Oak Properties, Decker Farms. I went to the Archer County Museum and Jail. I mean, all this was fascinating. And then I ended my Hometown Pride Tour, that segment of it, at the grotto at St. Mary's Church, which is just so peaceful and so beautiful. And each place I went had something amazing and wonderful about it, and I really got to get a sense of Archer County, and it's beautiful. And the community feel, everything, it was great, especially coming from somewhere like Los Angeles. It's definitely a change of pace, but it's really, really nice.
Yeah, I was wondering kind of your take on it, coming from a place like Hollywood, California to Archer County, Texas. It's a big change.
It is a big change. I actually really, really like it. I mean, I didn't have any preconceived notions necessarily when I came here. I knew it was going to be a smaller city, obviously. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what the pace was going to be like, but I just, I mean, what's wrong with not fighting traffic every morning?
Right.
And the streets are very clean, compared to many parts of Los Angeles, which I really appreciate. Mm-hmm. And I think it's kind of just a relaxing place, even though we're busy with what we're doing, so I have enough excitement.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it very much, very, very much.
Yeah, it's definitely a more simpler pace of life, I would say. And you mentioned that you went to the Archer County Museum and Jail. We're going to take a look at the story you did on that in just a minute or so, but tell me a little bit about visiting there. What maybe stood out in your mind the most?
First of all, it's full of priceless historical artifacts. I mean, it's in a little bit of disrepair. Peeling paint, there's a lot of dust. They're working on that. They really want to, clean that up and kind of go through everything, because there's just so much in there. But I mean, we're talking about dinosaur bones that the Smithsonian Institute wanted to have in the Smithsonian Institute, but they kept here. And these are things that people really need to see. And, I know some people do, but I don't think enough. I mean, I think I was just amazed by the sheer amount of historical artifacts, Archer County history, incredible photographs. I mean, just every square inch in that place. And, you know, they want to digitize all those photographs, and they want to make sure they're keeping this history alive, because, you know, it's starting to get old, and they're starting,
Right.
they could lose a lot of this if it's not done, you know, sooner rather than later. So I think just being in such a place so steeped in history and with so much to see was amazing. And it was, you know, there was parts of it that were just mind-blowing. You know, there's a gallows. Nobody was ever hung there, thank God. But,
Right.
you know, there's a gallows, and, you know, you don't often go into one of those.
Not something you see every day, definitely.
No, so I don't. And then, you know, just how little these little cells from way back when, and the first floor was where the family lived, you know, and then, you know, who the jail keeper, or
Right,
whatever.
right.
And then, you know, the other 4 floors, I believe it's 4, or it was maybe 3, but those were where the prisoners were, and it's just it's so interesting to see.
Yeah, fascinating stuff. Let's take a look inside the Archer County Museum and Jail.
There are hundreds of photos on the walls of the Archer County Museum and Jail. Images of the Archer County sheriffs lined up over the years. Family photos, old law enforcement uniforms, women's dresses from a bygone era, flags, furniture, and countless knickknacks and souvenirs from yesteryear. Gary Biesinger, chairman of the Archer County Historical Commission, says one of the most interesting and unexpected displays in this eclectic museum are the dinosaur bones.
Jack Lofton, who was the chairman of the Historical Commission for Archer County, a great historian who we lost a few months ago, was Mr. History and knew everything about Archer County, and he actually participated in several archaeological digs where there were some fossils and dinosaur bones found in Archer County that are unique to Archer County.
Mr. Lofton donated one set of dinosaur bones to the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C., and kept the rest here. Construction on the Archer County Jail was completed in 1910. The first floor were living quarters for the sheriff and his family. The second and third floor were cells, and the fourth floor was a hanging gallows, which was never used. The first person ever held here was arrested for stealing a horse. Biesinger says the museum is in quite a state of disrepair and badly needs some help.
Museum needs a lot of work. It needs some physical repairs to it. The biggest problem, obviously, is money, trying to access money. So we're trying to get a group of people together who really care about the museum, the history of Archer County, to try to refurbish.
Cleaning up, getting rid of anything extra that doesn't relate to Archer County history, and a fresh coat of paint are immediate priorities for Biesinger. He also wants to start digitizing all of the irreplaceable photos before they fade away for good.
Amazing stuff that is virtually sitting in our backyard, and you wouldn't think it.
No.
I mean, especially from looking maybe at the outside of the building too, you wouldn't think that stuff would be inside it as well.
It's just, when I walked in, like I said, I was astonished. I mean, you could literally be in this space for days and you wouldn't see everything. And it's a small building. That's how packed with stuff it is. So it's very, very interesting. It just needs a little cleanup.
Yeah. And be sure, if you're in Archer County ever, just go and check it out. See some of the stuff that Ava talked about there in her story. See some stuff that she maybe might not have seen.
Yeah.
And to see the other stories that she did, she went to Royal Theater, Mossy Oak, Decker Farms, St. Mary's Church. To see some of those other stories, head to our website, newschannel6now.com. Ava, anything you want to leave us with about Archer County itself?
I think, again, I was struck by the natural beauty in Archer County. I mean, you know, everywhere I went to all of these places, you know, just being on the hill there at St. Mary's and in the grotto, and, you know, going to Decker Farms, which is absolutely beautiful, and you know, seeing some of the properties that Mossy Oak sells, and just being at the Royal Theater and everyone's enthusiasm and just how they redid it. I just got a really, really good feeling just about the community, and just, I guess it really is just a beautiful American,
all-American town.
All-American town.
Yeah.
And it's a great place to be and to visit.
Yeah, beautiful and rich in history. Thanks, Ava,
Yes.
for joining us.
Thank you.
Our next stop is Young County. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back. The next stop on our We Are Texoma Hometown Pride Tour is Young County Ashley Fitzwater joins me this morning. Ashley, thanks for being here.
Oh, absolutely. Good morning.
Good morning. You went to Graham
Yes.
a couple weeks ago. Tell me, how was that?
I tell you what, the people there are just absolutely amazing. They were so friendly. I got to do actually a couple different stops. We went and visited the drive-in theater, did a story on the drive-in, and also the National Theater. And what's really interesting about this, there's a family in Graham, and they're the Scott family, and I keep saying this over and over again, but I really mean it. That town is blessed to have the Scott family because they've done so much for that community. He is actually a dentist in the town, but they've also taken time and their money and resources and poured it into these 2 historic theaters that they have in town, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I was interested to see, I've been to Graham a handful of times. I haven't made it up there as much as I'd like, but I was interested to see about the theaters that you talked about, and I didn't even know they had a drive-in theater.
Right.
And I think that's so cool because you don't see that a lot.
No, you really don't. And I tell you what, they had a contest a while back, and they were one of the top 5 in the nation because of the votes, and they were able to go digital, and that's what made it all possible because, you know, it's pretty expensive to do that and to do those. But what's even funnier is I got a chance to talk with some of the teenagers in the town, and they say whenever they go to Dallas, they'll mention, oh, we went to the drive-in, and people are like, you have a drive-in? And they didn't even realize it was unique, you know, but it is so unique to that town.
Yeah, did you know about the drive-in before you went, or was that something that surprised you too?
I did, because I've grown up in this community,
Right.
so, you know, it's kind of something that has been around, and it's a very unique thing. I think it's something that we're proud to have, you know, no matter where you live in Texoma, that is part of us, you know, that drive-in as well.
Is there anything in your ventures in Graham and Young County that did come as a surprise to you, something that you maybe not thought was there?
I was interested in the National Theater. You know, right now you can walk in there and you can see these updated movies, you know, these recent releases on the film stream, but this actually movie theater dates back. It was the first one in Graham that actually came, I guess, into existence, and they showed the silent films back then.
Oh, cool.
And she said it was a place to come at that time, and they would play games. It was a social event whenever you would go to the movies. You know, nowadays it's like, don't talk to anybody. You know, you can even go by yourself. It's not that big of a deal. You're there to see the movie, but that's not how it was. And I didn't know that in general about the movies. So they even preserved some of the old seats, and I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's just neat to see. And this is what else is really cool. So they own a property that the National Theater sits on. And then they had to expand on the side. And what's pretty cool, they have an upstairs theater, so you have to go up the stairs to go into another room. Like they have 3 different areas you can watch a movie. And it's seated over an old jail and what used to be the firehouse and the city hall.
Okay.
It's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, a lot of different uses.
A lot of history in that building, for sure.
And a lot of history in Graham and Young County as well. Another stop you made was a Wildcatter Ranch Resort and Spa, which is another thing that I didn't even know was up there, and someplace that I definitely want to check out.
Okay, I really didn't know anything about the Wildcatter Ranch.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I'm not even an outdoorsy girl, whatever you want to call it. I loved it there. I want to go back. It's amazing. So they have something for everyone. And even if that's not really your thing, if it is your thing, well, you're going to love it even more. But even if it's not, it's a great place to go and check out. You can horseback ride. They have skeet shooting, archery. And what's really cool, and you're going to hear in the story here in just a little bit, but 70% of the people who come are international guests, and we got a chance to meet some ladies from England. So
Yeah,
that was cool.
that is so awesome. And you talked about the story. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. The Wildcatter Ranch Resort and Spa.
As you make your way into the Wildcatter Ranch, you are greeted by longhorns and a breathtaking view. The ranch is complete with 16 guest cabins, 16 hotel rooms, a steakhouse, and is full of countless things to do. And listen to this, 70% of the guests who stay here are actually international visitors.
It's really neat for them because they've seen Texas in the movies and on TV, and for them to be able to come to Texas and ride a horse, that's a good experience for them.
In fact, while we were there, we met 3 guests all the way from Newcastle, England, who had just finished up a horseback ride.
It was a bit scary at first. I've never done it before, but amazing. Yeah, I'd totally do it again. Totally recommend it.
Really good teachers.
Yeah.
Even I got a chance to saddle up.
Well, this is my new buddy, Ted, out here at the Wildcatter Ranch. Horseback riding is probably one of the more popular things to do, but there are lots of activities, including
skeet shooting, archery, and jeep tours, just to name a few.
Did the jeep ride as well yesterday, which took us way up in the mountains, and that was really fun. We had to hold on to our seatbelts, but it was really good.
Oh, we
really
fed the
enjoyed
longhorns
it.
this morning
the
as well.
Longhorns this morning, the cows.
That was
good.
Wet hands, but
Yeah.
fun.
Jay Brewer is the Wildcatter Ranch Activities Manager and has been working on the property located on the Brazos River since it opened up. And yes, be jealous, it's a dream job.
The fact that I get to come to work and I get to bring my dog with me, I get to drive Jeeps and shoot guns and ride horses. I'm living the dream.
He says everyone from management to the other staff are great to work with. But he also enjoys spending time with all of the guests. He gets to show a little bit of Texas and Young County too.
You get to meet people from all around the world. You get to be a part of their vacation, their memories. So it makes it easy to want to do a good job.
Get to be cowboys for a few days, which is great.
Exactly. Yeah. It's what every Brit wants to be, isn't it?
Real life cowboy.
You do as much as you want or as little as you want. Seems like you're miles away from anything when you're out here. I can tell you all day long how cool it is, but until you get out here, you'll never know.
And you know, seeing those ladies from England come there makes me feel like we sometimes take this area for granted, because when we think of, anyway, when I think of taking a day trip or kind of just getting out for the day, I immediately think of Dallas-Fort Worth and I think of Oklahoma City.
Sure.
But I don't think of just staying right here in Texoma,
Right.
and it has so much to offer.
It really does. And, you know, like you said, people from all over the world, even people from Germany, from Egypt have come, and they come just to visit the Wildcatter Ranch. I mean, that is why they're coming. And I tell you what, when you go out there, you really do feel, just like he had just said, like you're miles away from anything. It doesn't
Right.
feel like you're even in Texoma, you
Yeah.
know, maybe the area you're used to anymore. It's really just a beautiful place to visit. It's neat.
Yeah, I bet. And to find more information on the Wildcatter Ranch Resort and Spa and the other places that Ashley went to visit, just head to our website at newschannel6now.com. We will be right back after this. Welcome back. You're watching Inside Texoma. On this episode, we've been taking a look back at our We Are Texoma Hometown Pride Tour. We've taken you to a lot of places. We've taken you to Vernon, Archer County, Graham, but the tour isn't over yet. Next stop is Nocona, and it is on June 6th. Danielle Malagary has been in Nocona for the past week or so. Thanks for joining us this morning, Danielle.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me the places that you visited in Nocona.
We actually went to a lot of places. We went to the Tales and Trails Museum, the Nocona Athletic Goods. We also went to the Fenolio Boot Company, the Red River Inn Hotel, and then the Horton Car Museum.
Yeah, there's a lot of places in Nocona that I think a lot of people don't know about. It's just kind of sifting through the things to find these hidden gems in this town. What was the favorite place that you visited?
Well, I think if you're going to go visit Nocona, you have to start at the Tales and Trails Museum. It really sets up the history of the entire town, and there is so much history there. I mean, some of the artifacts date back to like 15,000 years ago. So it's really awesome. They have it divided into sections. So they have like the Native American culture, Western heritage, agriculture, leather goods, and then the oil and gas industry. So really, really neat to go see everything. The tour guides know everything that's in the museum,
Right.
so they'll give you a lot of information. So I think that was my favorite part, just to get the whole, you know, I guess, outline of the city.
And I've been to Nocona a couple times, and one of the places I went to when I was there was the Horton Classic Car Museum, which you said you made a stop at as well. I really thought that was cool, and I'm not a big car enthusiast, but I feel like you almost leave there becoming a car enthusiast, and the guy that shows you around, he knows everything about cars.
It's really, really neat. What kind of blew my mind was the fact that a couple owns all those cars. It is a private collection, so that was awesome. But you're right, the guy who shows you around, he knows every single car, and it was really impressive of how neat and everything was taken care of. And it's him and one other guy that take care of all the cars, and it's really beautiful to see.
I know, it is. What would you recommend, other than the museum that you talked about, what are the other places that you recommend people going if they were to make a stop up in Nocona?
Well, if you're a baseball fan, you have to go to the Nocona Athletic Goods Department. They make baseball gloves, and they're actually the only factory in America that are still making baseball gloves. So it's really cool. They'll take you around, you'll see them get made, and it's almost, I think, 45 steps just to make one glove.
Wow, that's amazing. And do you actually see the process of them making these gloves?
You do, yes. You see them lacing it, sewing, doing everything. It is really neat. And they actually have a baseball glove that Nolan Ryan ordered. So they'll show you that and stuff. So I don't want to give too much away, but really, really neat things.
And I feel like all these places that we visited, not only in Nocona, but all the places here in Texoma, they have so much history to them. It's not just a classic car museum, or a factory, like you said. There's so much history to all of these places, and Nocona, no exception.
Exactly, and it's really neat how everything kind of ties in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, start at the Tales and Trails Museum. It'll give you kind of like just the general information about it. The Fenolio Boot Company also was great to visit. It kind of shows you the leather industry and what really brought Nocona, you know, put it on the map, actually.
Right.
So you can see boots getting made. So I was joking with my photographer, and I was like, I can make boots and leather gloves now. Like, it's just really neat to see stuff like that getting done.
Yeah, and you learn a lot of stuff while you're at it. So the Nocona special, Danielle's stories, are going to start airing June 6th. We're also going to make a stop in Bowie on June 20th. And then in July, we are going to Henrietta and Iowa Park. So be sure and tune in for all these. And we're also going to have these on our website, too. If you happen to miss a story or want to watch it again, we all have it on our website, newschannel6now.com. Danielle, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing your specials on Nocona. And that's it for this episode of Inside Texoma. We'll see you back here next week. Have a great Sunday.